welcome to Over the Marvel, recapping episode 5 of the Loki show. I am your host, Sarah. I have two of my people with me today. Jay Wade. Welcome back, Jay. How are you?
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm stoked to talk about this show. So far, I've not had any luck, though, getting people together to do a late night show where we discuss. I really want to discuss this. Dude, if there were to be a porn with Loki and Lady Loki, would it be under taboo or masturbation? It is
Masturbation.
a valid question. It's
Taboo
a valid
masturbation.
question. I want to dissect this. Well, yeah, but I mean, I want to get a group of
Masturbation.
Anyway, and we have Alligator Dundee.
I am
Hello.
here constantly bringing you the witty names, which is why people should follow me on Twitter, which also, yeah, you're seeing it in the private chat there. Nobody's tweeted the link.
I'm the host.
I'm here. Not tweeting.
I didn't know I was supposed to be tweeting about this show.
I'm aware of it.
The host tweets it, and then the rest of us retweet what the host tweets.
Well, I haven't tweeted about it this whole time, so why would you think I would do it tonight?
Like, I'm never sure who I'm retweeting. I just see a bunch of
me too.
Things pop up for the thing, and I just retweet them. I don't know where it starts. It's like a Schrodinger's tweet. You know, it both exists and does not. You know, much like all of these fucking Lokis.
Oh, these fucking Lokis. All right, let's jump into it.
In the last week's mid credit scene, I didn't see the fucking alligator. So when I saw it this time, I was
I didn't see it.
Me neither.
Is it in there?
Yeah, he's holding it. Kid Loki's holding it.
Oh man, I didn't even pick up on that. So I was like super surprised by Alligator Loki, and oh my god, it's the best thing that Marvel have done, like ever.
It's a real thing. It's a real comic thing.
No,
in the comics, there was a cat Loki. I know that much.
I mean, you know, there's always been like tomfoolery, but as far as I'm aware of, there's no specific like.
So there's no alligator Loki.
No, this is like I think this is like just a random original thing that they've done.
That makes me like it even more.
So well,
comics, dude. I was watching a video on it. In the comics, there was a lot of different Lokis and stuff, and one of them was an animal Loki that was a cat. And so, I mean, an alligator's not an animal, but I mean, it's they pulled it from that. So
and
it's not an animal.
The famous, good aim, mate. Let's put a croc in there. Then
an alligator is an animal. But moving on, the most famous thing like that from the comics is Frog Thor, which I believe is also in this episode.
Yes, we saw.
Frog Thor is trapped down there.
Yep.
He's been separated from the Mjolnir.
Does he look like a frog?
Well, no, he was normally a regular Thor, and then he got turned into a frog by Loki. And this is back in the early 80s. They actually it wasn't just like one of these things in the comics that was just like one issue and then he turns back at the end. They did like a full-on fucking year-long run where Thor was just a frog that year. It was incredible.
Well, I have a question since you brought up Thor. Maybe I missed this. Maybe they said this in the episode today or yesterday. What was up with the Loki with Thor's hammer? What the fuck's up with that?
Well, it's like a golden hammer. It's not implicitly stated that it's Mjolnir. I mean, we kind of assume that it is like that universe's version of Mjolnir. I mean, I was more thinking maybe in that universe, maybe Thor's like the scrawny, mischievous one. You know, he more of fulfills the Loki kind of role, and Loki in that universe is the more big, battle ready warrior type thing. That's kind of how I imagined it. Which, you know, I mean, he's not worthy though. We see in this episode he betrays them all. So, I mean, how if it was Mjolnir, how would a Loki be worthy? How do you constitute? But maybe in that universe, Mjolnir has a different enchantment, and it's like he who is the biggest piece of shit can wield this hammer. So, you know, I would have
The
loved to have been there when Odin scribes that on the hammer.
the best part was when all the Lokis turned on the Lokis. They all turned on each other, and it was like, of course they would. They're Loki.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was thinking it was a little bit of a plot hole that, like, so many of them have managed to be organized for as long as they have, because, you know, they've been there, like, potentially, like, centuries in, like, whatever time they're in, or lack thereof. So I thought it was all a bit convenient that they all decided to start turning
They all
on
work
each
together.
other right now. Like, they all worked together for years, apparently. And like, I can buy the Richard Grant version working with them because we get some really good like character stuff with him, some really like introspective, you know. And I really believed that he was like a seasoned, weary Loki.
Yeah,
He was the best part of the episode. He was my favorite
So
part.
good,
He was great.
so good.
I was
loved
kind of
hearing
sad.
his history.
You didn't think he was that good? Oh.
No, I loved it.
But I want to go back to what Jay said. What? I think I missed a line that the other. I don't know what his Loki was, but what did he say to Tom Hiddleston Loki about I was Captain America and Iron Man? Did he say he was them too,
No,
or he defeated them?
He says that he's telling the story, and he's like, "Oh, after I defeated Captain America and Iron Man, I took all 6 of the Infinity Stones."
Okay.
But then they call him out like he's just lying, which I hope that he isn't, because I would love there to be a universe where Civil War happens and Loki Thor just comes down and just like, this is stupid, wipes them all out, collects the stones and just fucks off.
And we didn't see him die, right? Are we just suspecting that all of those Lokis killed each other?
I mean, I'm going to assume that. I don't know. I think that by the end of the season, I feel like the Void will probably not be there anymore. So maybe everything in there will be gone. Is probably what I see.
What about Kid? But we still have Kid Loki just wandering around.
That kid cracks me up.
Yeah, he was really good. Like, normally when they try and do this, like, you know, casting a kid version of the older actor, it's terrible. But he was good.
Oh, so I'm the only one that thought he was the weakest part of the episode.
You didn't like him.
I did not think his acting was strong. I think out of all of the other kids that they've casted for the Young Avengers, he was probably the weakest one for me. No offense, buddy. I mean, I think that's a tall order because I think Tom Hiddleston is incredible and like that's a big and he was doing something different. I just didn't like him.
I like Richard E. Grant's Loki, I could see as an older version of the Hiddleston Loki, whereas his version I couldn't see as a younger version of Hiddleston's Loki, but I did buy him as a younger version of a Loki. You know, I thought he was good.
Yeah, the like pompous kind of Loki, like in the first.
Well, he killed Thor. Of course, he's pompous.
Yeah. I mean, I like that. I like that. I don't know. There's just something about his acting that kind of just got on my nerves a little bit. But I mean,
he was fine. I mean, he was no alligator Loki. That guy was acting his fucking ass off. Like,
that was my favorite part. I love alligator Loki.
The squints of the eyes and like the little gulps and the little like they. I don't know if I was just projecting because I loved the idea of it, but I just felt like they were really like emoting with the animation of the.
Oh, they were.
It was so good. It was so good. Just cut back to him. Like, can we get a picture of alligator Loki and just every time somebody's saying something on the show, just cut to it, you know, just regularly for every other show from this
always
moment onwards.
Oh yeah, loved all the Lokis. We had President Loki, right? That was the other Tom Hiddleston one.
Yeah, he gets his fucking hand bitten off.
That was from an actual comic book thing.
Yeah,
yes.
President Loki's and a recent thing that they've done. I don't know much about that.
We got some. what's her name? I keep wanting to say Selkie. That is not her name. Sylvie with, I still don't know the lady's name. I'm terrible.
Renslayer?
Is that her name?
Yes.
The TVA lady.
Yes. We had a couple of good, like, they did all their thing. The scene between her and B25, is that right? Be something that was great. I thought that was a really strong scene. Go ahead, Jay.
Moment
I
passed.
thought like Renslayer was like the weakest part of this episode.
It hadn't passed. You just said, the host just said, go ahead, Jay, and then Dean started talking over me.
Sorry.
Oh, go, Jay.
No, I'm kidding. I had a joke, but it was well past. Well, that's another issue with my setup here. Whenever someone else's mic is picking up sound, it mutes mine.
Yes.
So I really hate that, dude, especially on my Saturday show when I'm trying to keep everybody on schedule and like, dude, shut the fuck up, and nobody can hear me. But
why does it do that?
I have no idea. I can't get a fucking answer. I've hit up StreamYards and they, I don't know, check your internet connection. And I'm like, dude, it's a hard line. It's a hard line, dude.
You sure it's not your mic?
No, it's not my mic. It ain't. All that shit's good to go. It's just weird.
Have you turned it off and on again?
All of the sounds. So it has something to do with my equipment, my recording and audio equipment. But anyway, I did. But
so if we ever want you to just stop talking, we just cut you off, and that's.
Dude, that's fine. Dude, that would be fine with me as long as it's not my Saturday show. That's when it pisses me off.
Yeah.
So
but
Saturday.
Shit, man, dude, I blew up on air a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I'll go drop the link in the chat.
I did. I did, man. I blew up and I removed 2 people from screen, and it took them a little bit. They thought I was doing a bit, and they kept coming back on screen, and I kept removing them. And I'm like, dude, no, I'm not fucking kidding. I mean, like, I just did have
pruning them from the stream.
Like, he was pruning. Got them. But I agree with what you were saying, Dean, about her stuff probably being the weakest part of the episode. I just think that one scene was pretty good. But yeah, I don't really like her story or plot. I saw something that in the comics she is Kang's girlfriend. The character that she plays,
something like that. Yeah, I mean, but they've not like. This is why I'm not sure about this whole Kang thing, because they've not really, other than like visual clues and like stuff with the names that like comic book people will know, there's nothing that emotionally is going to connect us to this character that we've not even they mentioned. Like, I just feel like if that would mean just a whole final episode of just exposition of just a bad guy talking or something, and I just don't, or a flashback.
Or him just showing up at the end.
Yeah, I don't know if I see it. And I am worried that it's going to be a Mephisto situation all over again. You know, I mean, I've got a theory for maybe who might be running the TVA. It's pretty weird, but I think it's more plausible that ties into the show than Kang.
Well, speaking of that, let me go ahead and Sean is not here this week. He is actually at the theater right now, Black Widow, and he wanted to make sure.
I'm sorry. Dean also said
Sean
something.
Going to see Black Widow, or are you booing?
Okay, I'll mute me and Dean so you can get this out. Okay, go ahead.
Sean is not here right now. He is the one who's in the theater watching Black Widow because, one, I don't give a shit about Black Widow other than Florence Pugh. And 2, I only go to the theater to watch certain shit. Okay, dude, you guys are so fucking distracting. So Sean wanted me to read. Here, hold on, let me do this. I'm going to cover the screen with what.
I'm literally eating Airheads. Like, I don't understand how I'm distracting.
You sound like you're about to read a eulogy, but go on.
No, but Sean wanted to get this out there before next week's episode drops because he wants to lock in his theory so that he can pull basically, and I told you so, like I got to for the Mandalorian. So this is his theory, his words. I think that the show is going to end with whoever is running the TVA getting killed, and that opens up the multiverse. I think the What If show is going to essentially be exploring that. I don't think it's going to be super important to Doctor Strange 2 or anything, but I think that the show is going to highlight some other worlds in the multiverse, and some weird shit is going to go down. Then in Doctor Strange 2, we'll see stuff get fixed. But I think that What If will be canon. It will be canon. And that it's going to establish the multiverse of madness that we'll see in Doctor Strange 2.
That's interesting stuff.
What does that mean?
I don't understand any of it. So, but
what is What If? I don't know what that is.
Well, they're doing the What If series, which is the animated thing and obviously the premise is just like, random one-off like stories that were supposedly were going to just be like, outside of the canon of obviously the MCU because they're What If stories, right? They haven't happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what Sean is saying is that if the multiverse gets created as a result of Loki, that those episodes of that show could then be potentially branch realities that exist within the multiverse. So if, for example, one of the characters or one of the versions of the characters really pops off in the show, that maybe they could, but if we bring in characters from different like the Raimi films and other universes, that we could bring those in as well. So you could have Hayley Atwell could come on potentially, as the Peggy Carter Captain America or something like that. If they wanted to bring her in for like a super duper crossover multiverse thing, then maybe they could. I think that's kind of what Sean is getting at. But we'll see. I mean, we're definitely, the TVA is going down or getting burnt down, as Owen Wilson says. So I do think that, we are gearing up to, when this show ends, we'll just have a full-flown, untethered multiverse just brewing, and there'll just be all these different possibilities out there, hopefully.
I want the final shot of this series to be Owen Wilson riding a jet ski with a big smile on his face.
You and everyone else.
But after this episode, he may or may not factor into my theories on who might be running the TVA. And
all right, what's your theories? Let's just talk about theories.
Well, he's Mobius, right? It's the Mobius loop. So he's in a loop. So what's to say that when he leaves at the end of this episode to go burn the TVA down, that he doesn't just think, fuck it, you know what, this gave me purpose, I needed that purpose, and he just starts the whole cycle all over again. And he's, in fact, the one who's running the TVA to give himself purpose, because he says earlier on in this episode about how it was like everything, and that sometimes the ends justify the means and all this stuff. And like his name, it's just obvious, it's right there. They did that coffee cup or the whiskey glass thing with the ring on the table, and they haven't really come back on that yet. And I don't know, I feel this is what I'm saying about something having more of like an emotional payoff that ties into the series already, as opposed to just like dump of a whole new character that nobody knows about in the last episode. Yeah. A character that I really want to see. I really wanted to see Mephisto as well. And, we just don't learn.
Mephisto? Dude, what is
no.
Like
I just gotta talk over him. Okay. So Sean did bring up something in our chat earlier where I said, like, something about the whole Kang, everyone's saying it's going to be Kang at the end, but they haven't really given us, like you were saying, like too much to really hang on to that, kind of like Mephisto. But Sean said that with Kang, it has been announced that he is going to be in Ant-Man 3. He does have an actor, where Mephisto is just something that we all just kind of made up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really interesting point, that I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see him Like, I mean, I could see it going either way. Like, because he is
Yeah.
going to be introduced. Maybe he
This
does.
show, we're definitely leading to Kang. We know we're getting Kang, and the events of this show will definitely lead into Kang. I just don't think Kang is necessarily the one running the TVA.
Yes.
But obviously Kang is involved. And talking of Ant-Man, we Yellow Jacket helmet is in this episode, which means that they are definitely in the quantum realm. So
yes.
Damn.
Chew on that, guys and girls.
But yeah, I don't know.
Is the place that when Ant-Man shrank in the Ant-Man and Michael Douglas sent him in.
I've never seen the Ant-Man movies. Maybe that's.
Oh man, and the villain from Ant-Man is confirmed to be returning. One. Yeah, Corey Stoll is confirmed to be returning.
I thought he died.
Well, this is the thing. He gets like shut down, doesn't he, into like maybe the quantum realm, which evident by this episode is exactly what happened. And he's going to be in Ant-Man. He's confirmed to be in Ant-Man 3, which means that maybe he's the guy who's like the go-between between like Kang and like, you know, maybe he's like working under Kang. So not necessarily running the TVA, but maybe.
He is. It's him. It's confirmed.
We see his helmet in this episode. It's right there. I couldn't believe it when I missed it the first time.
Which part?
It's just like a random like landscape shot, and there's just a big old like there's trees for you know, for scale, and then there's just a big old Yellow Jacket helmet just like dumped there on the floor, which seemingly confirms that they are in the quantum realm. Either that or like Josh mentioned, maybe Yellow Jacket went big, but who knows? We're getting him in Ant-Man 3. Maybe we see him next episode in this. Or
so I guess I should watch Ant-Man and the Wasp because I've never seen it. I just kind of skipped that one.
Yeah.
The best thing about Ant-Man is that it's only an hour and like 40 minutes long.
Really?
That's the best thing about that fucking movie was that it was.
I like them.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
I like both of them. But yeah, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, you see the Quantum City, or you, like, which is allegedly where the TVA might be. Oh man, are we being pruned?
I don't know what happened. Let me tell you my Ant-Man story. I watched it on a date with a guy who didn't like the fact that not my husband, but his name was also Nick. Weird.
Sarah's on a date with someone who was not her husband.
This was like years ago. Okay, I did it. We were watching it, and I was making fun of the movie the whole time, and he was not happy. He's like, this movie's really good. I'm like, no, this movie is trash, and I was making fun of it. And there's the one part when Paul Rudd like takes his shirt off, and I just kept screaming like, "Take off your clothes! Take off your pants!" And he was like, he didn't understand why that was funny.
Was it like opening night?
No, this was at his house. It was literally me and him watching it. Like in his room.
I thought you meant it was like the movie was out in theaters, and he was like super psyched to see it, and he was just like, "Don't talk over it."
No, it was literally like 2 years after the movie came out, and I never watched it. And he was like, "We should watch Ant-Man," and we're sitting in his bedroom, and he's just like, "I'm just making fun of the movie the whole time," and he was not happy.
Hold on. We got to backtrack a second here. Wait a minute. You went on. Okay, hold on. What kind of guy is this?
2 years after Ant-Man came out, but it wasn't with your husband. No, when did you get married? Like yesterday?
2018.
Okay, dude, we're all missing the bigger picture here.
The bedroom part?
This dude took Sarah out on a date to his fucking bedroom to watch a 2-year-old movie.
That was after our first date. He took me to learn how to drive stick for his car. That was our first date. There's a reason it didn't work out. He broke my heart, actually. So.
Oh man, you want to come learn stick on?
What's his name?
I'm not telling you.
Tell me his initials.
His first name is Nick. It's the same as my husband.
Not her husband, Nick. Nick, you're a fucking asshole.
I'll tell you later because his last name's actually
How dare you?
Yeah, you know you brought her over to Ant-Man because you wanted to make your dick look big in comparison. That's what you were doing.
Yeah. I bet it's big
I
old
see
fucking
that
shit.
shit.
Truck,
Getting recognized game, motherfucker.
fucking jacked up truck.
Oh my gosh. We went way off the rails. I don't even know what to talk about anymore about this show.
I also realized, right when I'm saying all that, I realized, wait a minute, this is not my channel, so I should maybe tone it down a little bit. Sorry.
Thanks, Josh. Moral of the story, I didn't really like Ant-Man that much. Haven't watched it since. But I like Loki a lot. I really like Loki. I love Loki. Richard E. Grant carried this whole episode. I love.
He built Asgard. He made
so
Asgard.
great.
And then he says glorious purpose, and they actually brought meaning to it, and it was glorious.
That was so cool.
You could tell he was having so much fun. He just seems like the night, like when he was in, he was like promoting, oh my god, the Star Wars movie, and you could tell like he just loved. He was wasted in it, but you can just tell like he loves this stuff. He's having fun, and he was a little over the top without being too much over the top, and it was just perfect. I was like, I love it. Yeah, and that scene was great.
And him talking about how he was just like, yeah, Thanos showed up in my universe too, and I didn't spend my whole life playing with knives, so I had some good ass magic, and I got the fuck out of there. And I thought that was great. And then obviously that ties back into later on where Sylvia's like, you know, you're not using your full potential, which answered my grievance, because it kind of annoyed me that like the different versions you all had like their powers were just so different. I was like, surely they're both like illusion based. They should be able to like do each other's thing, and then they kind of explain it by just, you know, like a whole nature versus nurture. Some of them just kind of went in more like combat focused or more, you know, illusion or whatever. And yeah, I thought that was great how they tied that all in.
Yeah, I loved his story. I loved his backstory. It was just so.
Yeah. But what about that Thanos copter? Dude, that was fucking.
I was going to bring this up, but I didn't know if anyone would get the reference.
Oh, that was so cool.
The Thanos fucking copter is canon in the MCU. At one point, there is a version of Thanos that flew in a helicopter and got arrested by New York cops.
I want to see that.
They just, I don't know who I put my money on at that point. You know, if they get like he gets like a John McClane motherfucker that day, you know, who's like, I will bring this purple guy down. I don't care what it takes.
Great. I want to talk about the scene with Sylvie when they're sitting out with the blanket. I don't know how I feel about the romance growing between them, but I love it. So
and that's all I want to know. I think
it doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense to me, but I just love Tom Hiddleston, and I just love them. So it's fine. It's okay.
So why don't they do a Tom Hiddleston as both Lokis and they become lovers? That could be interesting. So we got CGI Tom Hiddleston making out with real Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, they do something similar.
Just like in Alien Covenant.
Alien.
Am I alone? Oh.
Michael Fassbender, how
Michael Fassbender makes out with himself, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, yes. Like, anyway.
With that scene, though, they started off talking about, like, the plan and, like, what they wanted to do. And I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. And then as soon as they started doing, like, the high school crush shit, it just really derailed it for me. It sounded like
it's very Kylo Ren,
Tom Holland and Zendaya. They sounded like high school kids. You know, as soon as the blanket came up.
Do you not think that they have chemistry? Do you think Zendaya and Tom Hiddleston, Tom Hiddleston and what's his face have chemistry?
No.
Have you seen the pictures of them making out in the car? Excuse me?
Because they needed to project the illusion of having chemistry, so they just started getting off in real life.
Not Tom Hiddleston. What is his name?
Who?
Holland.
Who is Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Why is there so many Toms in this series?
Me.
Tom Holland.
Jay, wait,
Come
I am
on,
telling you. Tom Holland and
You know
Zendaya.
Tom Holland.
There were pictures of them making out in a car, and people are saying it's just publicity. Oh my god. It's just because of Spider-Man, because Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst dated, and Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield dated, so now people are saying that this is just publicity.
They try and fabricate it. Everyone wants that Twilight buzz around the movie. They tried to do it with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Hey, they were in love.
They try and force this stuff. Both their publishers are telling them to go bang each other in public. It happens every time, and you can smell the bullshit a mile away on these things.
Well, they get me every time.
They get snapped together a few times, and then it goes away.
They were in love.
They are. Disney will not put sex in their movies, but they will happily pay two teenagers more money to make out in public, and it is actually disgusting.
Do you think they'll put sex in their TV shows, if not their movies?
Oh no, we'll just have Loki casually mention that he likes a bit of both. Like somebody asked him what he wanted in his fucking sandwich. Oh, that's fine. We addressed it. There you go, everyone. Sexuality in the MCU. Oh, a bit of both. Moving on.
Not enough, Disney. You don't get a pat on the back for that one.
Enough.
I'm sorry.
He needed to take out Owen Wilson's dick right there and then and slap it.
That's what I expected to see, Disney.
That is what I pay my Disney Plus subscription money for, people.
Oh my gosh. What about? Do we have a theory? I have a theory that the Timekeeper is another Loki. I don't know.
I see this one going around a lot, and I think that would that just feels like that would be lame, right? Would that just be a massive cop out?
I'm really hoping that they land the ending, because I feel like we've been a little bit disappointed by WandaVision ending and by Falcon and Winter Soldier ending, and I'm really hoping
too good.
It was so good.
It sets it up now that it seems like it's just going to be a talky letdown of an episode.
Well, you're not disappointed, Jay? Am I over speaking?
I had no issues with the end of either, and I had no issues at all with the end of Winter Soldier.
Not Winter Soldier. What's the show called?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I thought that finale was great.
Issues with the end of WandaVision either.
I don't remember. I think the farther away I am from WandaVision, the more I don't like it.
I feel like a lot of people kind of have that.
Fucking suck.
Like, they were hungry for Marvel.
I'm just saying.
And they appreciated the gimmick, and that it made you kind of nibble and wait for the real, like, classic Marvel action. And
yeah.
I love
the gimmick.
I liked it.
I liked it. I think the gimmick was great. I think it kind of got a little bit away from them towards the end. I felt like they really tried to set up a lot of stuff. I think that one probably got affected a lot by the pandemic, because they kind of had to cut out a lot of stuff. And the other one, I don't know. I think they're all good. I just think this one for me has been the strongest from beginning to end, all the way through. I've enjoyed it the most.
I think the writing and the acting in WandaVision is like just perfect. I didn't think any of the performances were a letdown, whereas Bucky and Falcon and this has got, in my opinion, some noticeably weaker performances than some of the others.
The writing has been a little bit wonky, like we said, with the humor. Sometimes the humor is just too much. I think it's gotten better. I think the series, they've kind of toned down, but there's still times where Loki will say something and it's like, okay.
Yeah, they went like beginning of the series, it was like first 4 episodes, it's just like joke, serious, joke, serious, joke, serious. In this episode, it finally just like all blended in together, and with the different Lokis, and but the stakes were there as well, and they finally found its stride. And I just we're not going to be happy either way. Because if the finale is really good, we're going to be like, now we want more. So,
well, that's what I was going to bring up. I've been seeing going around that this isn't a limited series. As like the other ones were clearly stating that these were limited series, with this one, people speculating that there might be a season 2, so it's not going to end completely. I don't know. I think it could still end, and I feel like season 2 will deal with something else later in the MCU. Like, I don't think it's necessarily going to be the same picking like a normal series, you know what I mean? Because the MCU is just one big TV show anyway, with multiple chapters.
Yeah. I mean, if we're leaving off this season with a fully, expanded multiverse, then there's no, depending on who survives the end of this show, there's no reason you couldn't have, Loki and Sylvia with a TAMPAD for a series, just hopping around the new different, universes that are now out there, and just, even if it's just like a story of the week kind of thing, just for fun.
Which is what we thought it was going to be.
Which is much more of just like a contained specific like mystery, which has been cool and infuriating. We was expecting Doctor Who, but we kind of got like True Detective, but with Doctor Who acting,
not Doctor Who.
And I would be down for more, depending on how this ends. Do we think Sylvia makes it out of this?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that.
I think either Sylvia or Mobius, one of them is going to go. I feel like one of them has to go for real this time. And I don't think they'll do both.
I don't think Sylvie's going to make it. I mean, they were kind of hinting it with him saying, like, what are you going to do after this? And her saying, I don't know. Like, this has been her glorious purpose. This has been her purpose since she was a child. Like, it's got to end with her sacrificing. Unless they try and avert that. But they haven't really averted expectations too much. So, again, we'll see. Yeah.
I think we end this show and that our Loki is the only like Loki that we kind of are aware, like that's the only one we kind of have left.
Or he dies and we just do this all over again. We get a brand new Loki.
Oh man, and he dies and Sylvia just becomes the ongoing Loki in the MCU moving forward. That'd be fun, right?
I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't. It'd be a bold move, and I would respect the hell out of it. But there's no way. People love Tom Hiddleston way too much,
and he loves Loki way too much to step away.
But she did give an interview where she said like they worked a lot together, and he was like teaching her how to be Loki, basically. So it's like, was he maybe like, getting ready? Is he thinking about that? Maybe passing, if there's an opportunity to maybe step away and then leave it open ended and come back, like switch it up a bit. They did it in the comics. Lady Loki was, that was Loki for like at least a year or two. And Kid Loki as well. That was Loki for like a year or two as well. So the president is there.
He's not leaving.
No, I don't think.
I don't think he's like not important enough, but you know what I mean. It's not like he's like Chris Evans or someone that has to like really carry. Like Tom Hiddleston can go away for a couple of years, like he did, do his indie movies, do whatever, and then come back.
It's fun for him, he's getting much more of the fun,
character.
And he hasn't got to like work out and hit the protein, so he's got the best of both. I mean,
have we seen him shirtless in this series? Oh, yes, we did. Okay.
Yeah, he looks pretty lean, but you know what? You know the point that I'm making.
The Marvel.
He gets to have the fun. He literally gets to be like the Loki of the actors of the MCU.
It does look like they're all having a lot of fun, and that's important. Do we have any final thoughts on this episode or theories?
Not me.
Just Owen Wilson's going to be the bad guy, and I just want him to have his jet ski, and I'm genuinely concerned.
Oh, yeah?
They got to give us a jet ski. They have
Yep.
to. They have to.
Yep.
Well, with that being said, oh no, we only have one episode left. I think we're all hoping that it sticks the landing. I think I'll still really like this episode, I'll really like this series, even if it doesn't land completely for me, because I've loved everything so far. And I think it would take a really big, misstep for me to just
It's
not.
all about Mobius. He's the only character who's not completed their arc yet. So
I would love that. Just give me just a Mobius-centered episode,
he's either
and we never find out anything else.
provocateur person or a time conquering time lord. Can't wait to find
Marvel,
out.
give me a spin-off for Alligator Loki. Thank you, please, and thank you.
Hashtag that
That's
shit
all I
and get
want.
it in my veins.
I love him. I
Put
love
another
him so
series
much.
on the Barbie there, mate.
Well, Alligator Dundee, where can the people Dundee? Dundee, where can the people follow you?
You can find me making puns like as golden as that on Twitter at Dean Lewis 2099 and get me to that 200 follower mark, people. I'm so close. Come on, make it happen.
I only
The boy
need
can
3
dream.
more. Come on, make it happen.
Oh,
Follow me and not
I need to get there before Sarah.
No.
That's not fair.
3 more people. Jay Wade, where can people follow you?
Y'all can follow me on the Twitter at jwade1134. That's a letter J, WADE 1134, where I am currently sitting at 202 followers. You can also follow the JCast Network at JCast Network, or at the JCast Network, rather, on the Twitter. And follow, subscribe, all that good shit. Yeah.
And you can follow me on Twitter at oh my god, SCBock, SSEABOCK. It's been a really long day, week, life, month. Yeah, that's it. And you can follow this show on Twitter
I don't even know you.
Huh? Please follow me so I can beat Dean. I only need 3 more followers to 100. Thank you. All right, we'll see you next week for our final episode until more Marvel content comes out. So, all right, bye.